In this sponsored tutorial, we're going to check out the Gutenix theme and the plugins that come along with it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below this video. I try to answer them the best I can. My name is Bjorn Allpass from WP Learning Lab, where we help you get better at WordPress so you can earn more for yourself, for your customers, and for your business. If you haven't done so yet, make sure to click subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss any future videos. And as with all sponsored videos, I try to give you a complete picture of what this theme does, and then you can make a decision about whether or not it'll help you in your business and whether or not you need to get it. And we're going to get started right now. We're starting out with a plain vanilla WordPress install that you see here. This is installed locally on my own computer. If you want to know how to do that, I use Local by Flywheel. I have a tutorial for that in the description down below. You can install sites locally right on your computer. And once we have the site installed, we can install the Gutenix Wizard, which will help us install everything we need for the template sites, which we're going to do right now. So I'm going to log in, and then I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and we're going to go to Plugins and Add New. And I'm going to click on Upload Plugin, and we're going to upload the Gutenix plugin that we get from the Gutenix website. If we go to their website here, I already have an account created, but if you don't have one yet, you can click on Download. You can create an account, and then when you log in, you'll be able to go to your products, and then you can download the Gutenix Wizard, which is going to allow you to install the free version or the pro version of the Gutenix plugin, and the Zeguten plugin, which adds 20 customizable blocks to the Gutenberg editor. So as I mentioned, we're going to download the wizard, and then have the wizard help walk us through installing what we need to install. So click on download to download that. Go back to our website, click on choose file, find the wizard, click on install now, and then click on activate plugin. You're going to want to do this on a freshly installed website. You can do this on a website that has content on it already. I just wouldn't recommend it. For example, I wouldn't recommend doing this on your live website, just because I don't want you to get into trouble with stuff being overwritten or having two copies of things and then getting confused, not knowing what to do. It's best to just start this from scratch. And once you see how everything works, you could do it on your main website, but I would recommend that you do a full backup of your main website first so you can revert back to the original version. I have a pro license for Gutenix. If you do not, use the free version. And if you want to know the difference between the two, there's a great page on the website, the features page, which shows the differences. The titles with the Pro icon beside them, those are for the Pro version. And you can read through and see all the differences between the two. It's very handy to have that. I'm going to install the Pro version. I'm going to paste in my license key and click on Validate. And I'm going to install it with a child theme. This is recommended because you can make changes to code on a child theme in the template files. If you're not making changes to your code, the code is in PHP, so if you don't even know PHP, then you probably won't be making any changes to the code. But I personally would still use the child theme just in case you want to do something in the future or you want to hire someone to do something with the code in the future. This is more future-proof than installing without the child theme. I made a video semi-recently about whether or not you need a child theme these days. I've linked to that in the card up above and the description down below. Watch that video and you can decide which one of these you're going to need, child theme or not. I'm going to go with the child theme, click on continue. Now it's going to install. I'm going to fast forward while this happens, and didn't have to because it's already done. And now we can choose a pre-designed site template. These are not just home pages or just about pages. These are full multi-page websites. You can click on the demo link beside any one of these and you can see what they look like. They're all professionally designed. They look great. And like I said, there's multiple pages. These are all real live pages that you can import and then customize as you need to. So check out the demo for any one of these. This first tab is all Gutenberg templates. The second tab is all Elementor templates. Click on Load More to load more. Third tab is all Brizy Builder templates. You can see the first three are free and all the rest come with the Pro license. Same with Elementor. The first three are free. With Gutenberg, none of them are free. They are all Pro. So what I'm going to do is install an Elementor template site, and then we're going to overwrite it with a Gutenberg template site, just so you can see how easy it is. So I'm going to just choose one, this one right here, Justico. It's telling us what we have to install to make this work. Click on install, it'll install those plugins. Click on continue when those are done. You can choose to add demo content to your existing content. This would be the option you choose if you're doing this on a live website. But when the content is all mixed together, it might get a little confusing. I would prefer it if you did this on some kind of staging site first, or just locally on your computer, just so you can see how it works. You can see which pages are imported. And then when you do it on a live website, you can see which pages come from Gutenix. So pick the option here that's right for you. I'm going to choose replace content with the new demo content because I have nothing on the site anyway. To type in your password to confirm, and now it's being installed. It's going to pause the video while this happens. That took about 30 seconds, not very long at all. Click on continue. It's going to regenerate the thumbnails for this template, and it's done already. Click on view site, and here is our website. Looks super pro for a law firm. This is all built using Elementor. We're going to get to that in a minute. A lot of information on that homepage. And the About page exists, and it's here. The Services page. These are all ready for you to edit and add your content to and customize as you see fit. The Projects page, Contact Us page. On any one of these, click on Edit with Elementor, and you'll be able to edit everything with Elementor, just like you used to if you used Elementor before. And this would also be a great time to add in any kind of extra widgets that you want from other third-party Elementor plugins. If you want to spruce up the site in any way, you can use whatever widgets you have available for Elementor. So now we're going to replace this with a Gutenberg starter site. Go back down to the Gutenix wizard, go to starter sites again, and I'm going to choose one for Gutenberg. I'm going to choose this puppy right here. Click on install. We can see this time we're going to install the Zeguten plugin, the one I mentioned earlier with the 20 custom blocks for the Gutenberg editor. And Gutenix Pro is required because this is one of the Pro starter sites. Click on install now. We'll see how easy it is to overwrite our existing website with this new one. So continue, replace my content with the new demo content, enter my password, validate. I'm going to pause while this installs. That took under 1 minute to install. Click on continue. It's going to regenerate the thumbnails. I'll pause while it does this. That took a little bit longer than last time, about 3 minutes, but now it's all done. I'm going to click on view site, and we see our website here. That's how easy it is to replace starter sites and start over from scratch, or switch from different page builders from Elementor to Gutenberg in this case. If you want to edit any one of these pages, click on Edit Page, and we go to the Gutenberg Editor. And the reason I did this with Gutenberg is I wanted to show you the Zeguten plugin that also comes with Gutenix. So we have the content here. We can click anywhere and replace things just as we would. Replace the images, replace the text by adding more text. And we have options on the right-hand side to customize things like color, typography, all the kind of stuff that we get with Gutenberg, even without adding any extra add-ons. But the Gutenix plugin adds 20 different blocks that we can see right here. You can hover over any one of these and it'll show you a little pop-up window on the right, or I guess center left on the actual screen, but right of where my cursor is. And I'll describe what this block does. And a lot of these blocks, you'll notice, are pretty advanced blocks that you usually get in page builders like Elementor, like the countdown timer, circle progress, progress bar, image comparison, a map with a pin to show your location, pricing tables, animated boxes, subscribe forms, carousels, tabs, contact form 7 widgets. These are all great add-ons if you want to build with Gutenberg. And a lot of people do these days because Elementor and other page builders are a little bit bloated. And so if you want a faster website, a lot of people are going back to basics and using Gutenberg. I'm just going to add the image comparison widgets. I always love these widgets. We see on the right-hand side here the before settings and the after settings. So for the before, I'm going to select an image from the media library. I'm going to use one of the images we have on the site already. And then for the after, I'm going to select a different image. Let's take this little puppy right here. And you can add text for the title and description, or you can just not have those. Just delete the text and delete the description. So it's just the images, which I'm going to do in this case. This isn't a great comparison either. Normally you'd have images that are slightly altered, so you're comparing the two images. I just want to show how this works. And to do that, I'm just going to use these two random puppies. I'm going to keep all the other settings as they are for now. Click on Update. Let's go to the actual page and see how this looks. Scroll down to our image comparison, and here it is. And as you can see, these images are enormous. You might like them that big, or you might not. If you don't like them that big, you put this into a section with a smaller area. For example, with columns is probably the way I would do it. Let's see if we can add a column. And we're going to add the 3 column with the wider centerpiece. Let's move this right into there. Update. Come back out here, refresh. Now it's a much more manageable size. And it's a great image comparison. This is something you don't normally see with Gutenberg. The Zeguten blocks I showed you earlier that come with the Gutenix plugin are super professional. In fact, they're normally what you'd see with a page builder. And there's 20 of them. And they have lots and lots of options. I only went through a handful of the options you have available for this one block. We also have background color settings, border radius settings, box shadow settings, margin settings, based on different device sizes if you want to, each device having a different setting for each of these. Same with the general settings, text block width, dividing line, the handle, which is the piece right in the middle here. There's a lot of options to customize this to exactly how you want it, and all the Zeguten widgets and blocks are like that. So you can create a highly customized site using Gutenberg, and that's all fantastic. But there is a reason that Gutenberg hasn't gone mainstream yet with everybody. Page builders are still the way to go. If we go to the home page, we'll see an example of why. Let's click on Edit Page on the home page, and we'll see that unlike page builders like Elementor and Brizy, what you see is not what you get. When you're building inside Gutenberg, here's a good example. We have the Donate Now and Adopt a Pet button that are aligned in this way inside the editor. If we go to the actual page, we see they're aligned this way, which looks much better. This doesn't look great. But when you're creating in Gutenberg, it's hard to tell what things will look like when they're actually published. And that's the big challenge with Gutenberg right now. And it's not Gutenix's fault. It's not Zeguten's fault. It is the fault of the WordPress developers. Maybe not the fault of that. That's kind of harsh. It is the responsibility of the WordPress creators and developers to make this better. If they want to give us the ability to build visually inside the page builder, they need to at least be at the level of something like Elementor or Brizy, where what you see in the back end is what you get on the front end. I know they don't want to replace page builders with Gutenberg, but at least make it so what we do in the back end looks as it looks when it's actually published, because that makes life so much easier. The way it stands now, we have to make changes here in the back end, save it, view it in the front end, and see how it looks. And that can be kind of painful. So in addition to all the options inside the Gutenberg editor, we also have a lot of options inside the customizer. If I go to Appearance and then Customize, we have site identity settings, where we can change the site title and tagline. That's regular for WordPress installs too. We have typography. This pulls in Google Fonts. So whatever Google font you want, I think there's 700 or more Google fonts. You can choose whatever font family you like for different parts of your site. And this is specifically for the site title. You'll see these similar options for different areas inside the customizer. Under general settings, we have page layout abilities where we can change the page layouts, have sidebars, no sidebars. We can even have different sidebars for different pages. We'll get to that in just a bit. I'm not going to change any of these options in here. For breadcrumbs, breadcrumbs show you the path to the homepage or the path to the current page on the website. So we have all the options associated with breadcrumbs here, including font settings, so you can change how they display. For page title, we can show the page title if we want to. That's not what we commonly do for the home page, like it doesn't show up here. Sometimes this should show the title, which would be home or something like that, which you don't necessarily want on the home page. But if you want to show the page title for the pages, this is where we do it, and the settings associated with it are right here. Then we have to top button. This is the button that shows up on the bottom right here in this case, or on most websites is the bottom right. When you click on it, it takes you back to the top. You can customize it with these options here, or just not show it at all by making sure this box right here is unchecked. Sidebar options. This is where we can display dynamic sidebars. And to use the dynamic sidebar generator on pages, you have to have the sidebar enabled. Currently we don't. To enable it, we go to page layout and choose an option like right sidebar or left sidebar. If you don't have those on, you can't display sidebars, which makes a lot of sense. If you want to have more than one sidebar, you can just type it in here. So maybe the home page has a sidebar and then rest of site has its own sidebar. So we have two different sidebars, and then we can specify where they go and have different sidebars for different sections. You could also have a WooCommerce specific sidebar, because there's a lot of WooCommerce options that come with Gutenix as well. You can make the sidebar sticky, which means it follows you down the page. If the page is long enough that you would scroll past the sidebar normally, it will now follow you down the page if you turn that on. If we go to mobile browsers, we can change the address bar color for mobile browsers right here. And the 404 error page, this allows us to create a template for the 404 page. There's one created for us right here already. And this page, if we go to a URL doesn't exist, like that, it shows our 404 page. And this can be created and customized using Gutenberg and the Zeguten blocks. And you can choose it as your template right here, and that'll be your 404 page. We can customize the preloader. We have the default type. You can also create the custom type, for which you have to add your own CSS code, or you can have no preloader. The preloader, if I click on default, you'll see it in the middle of the screen here. So if I click on default, you'll see it right there. That's the preloader. And you can use these options to change that preloader or turn it off. Under dynamic CSS, we can cache dynamic CSS by checking this box, and that will make our site work a little bit faster. So that's usually a great option to have turned on. If you find turning this on breaks something on your site, come back in here and turn it off. It's not that important to have a little bit faster website. It's more important that your site works. So choose this one if it doesn't break your site. Google Map API key. This is where you enter the API key for Google Maps, and then you can have the map on the contact us page with a pin dropped for your location if you want to. There's a subscribe pop-up. We can enable this. And then like it shows here, there's a pop-up you can subscribe to. It's not customized yet. Have to add a background image and some content. We can do that really quick. Let's just add this image. Sign up here. And then you have to have the form shortcode. This would be a contact 7 form, more than likely. And then the pop-up will appear when you try to leave the page. So if I'm on the page here and then I leave it, and it cookied me, so it knows I just did that. But when someone tries to leave the page, that's when the pop-up will appear. To create the shortcode for the form, we would do that inside contact form 7, which is installed when we use the Gutenix wizard. You could use other form builders if you want. Contact form 7 is just the one that came with the form. Here's a subscribe form right here. We can just copy this and put it right here. And now, if I leave this page, it still has been cookied, but this would add the form to the little pop-up that we saw earlier. So let's turn that off so we don't get annoyed with pop-ups. And color scheme allows you to define the color scheme for your site. All the primary colors, it'll apply it in important places. You can see these colors reflected on the demo over here. The link up here is this peachy color. So is this pre-headline. The headline is the green color. And we can see those colors throughout as well. So we can change them right in here. Typography allows us to change typography throughout the site. These options are similar to what we saw earlier. These are all the these are all the Google fonts and the options to customize them down below and the various areas where those will be applied. The body text, the various headings, H1, H2, H3, all the way down to H6, presumably. Yep, H6. And input text, which would be in a form field. Button text with color options that you see down here for active and hover and all the situations you have with buttons. And then we have the header, which allows us to add content up on the top here. One of the nice ones we have here is the show top panel, which shows the top panel right at the top. And you can add more information, like say your phone number, just like that. And you can have this enabled on mobile or not. You can show the social links if you want to. You can show a menu if you want to. We can set the menu inside the menu panel. Let's just turn that on and I'll show you where that menu panel is. And the social links we customize using the social menu that you see here. It says social menu. So if I go back and then back again and then go to menus, we have view all locations. We have a social menu right here and a top panel menu right here. Now the social menu is what's going to be added on the right hand side and the top panel on the left. Our logo in favicon or favicon can be set up here. In our main menu, we can customize the typography in here. For the submenu as well, this probably means drop downs. And the header bar is where the menu lives. We can change the layout of that very easily. There's 9 different styles, and we can also disable it. So we can go through these and choose the style that we like. Basically just rearranges our links and things up at the top here. That's what we started with. Makes it a hamburger menu on the right that pops up. So you can choose the style that is best for you, and you can set if it's visible on mobile devices or not. Change the colors, add a background image if you want to. You can add a sign-in link. So now we have, when we turn that on, there's a sign-in, sign-out link. So if we go back to the home page, because we're currently logged in, I have to click publish. Otherwise, we won't see that stuff. So let's click on publish here, refresh out here. We have our sign out button. If we are not signed in, there won't be a sign out button. If I go incognito to this website, we see a sign in button. Click on that. There's a sign in pop-up or a register pop-up. Registration is currently closed. If you want to open registration, you do that in the settings. Let's go back to our settings. I'll show you where that's done. Go to settings, and then I think general, here it is, membership. Anyone can register. Check that box. Click on save changes. Come back out here and refresh. Click on sign in, click on register, and now we can register. So that's so easy as to set that up. That's a nice feature, nice pop-up sign in. I like that a lot. And then we are going to go back into the customizer. We can show the search icon. If you want people to be able to search the content on your site, they can click on there, just type in whatever they want to type in and look for it. You can also have social icons here with the social menu again, just like the top bar. You can have it on the main menu here instead of on the very top bar. And you can also have it be a drop down instead of a list. So let's go back out of here. Vertical and mobile menu. This allows you to adjust the mobile menu settings. So when you're viewing this in mobile, let's go to a tablet here, or sorry, a phone, we can adjust these settings with these options that we see over here. In header buttons, we have button options. We currently show button 1, which you see right here, adopt a pet, and all its options are listed there. We can also add another button. And now we have button options for that button there. And then button typography, which applies to both buttons, is down at the very bottom. So you can have multiple buttons up there. And this will affect our layout for the header bar. We saw some of these styles earlier that weren't really changing. And I think that's because we didn't have all the options turned on, including just one button instead of 2. So it moves around all kinds of things depending on which options you have turned on. Those ones weren't changing much. Let's put the logo in the center and let's go back. Let's turn off the second button. There we go. Looks a little squished with the logo in the center. I'm going to put it back to style 8. I like that one with the hamburger menu. Okay, the sticky header. This allows us to have a sticky header. This means when we scroll down, our header pops up and comes with us. If this is turned off, that header up there is not coming with us. Another common option is under the sticky effect is to have it only appear when you scroll up. So as I scroll down, I see the full area and can read all the content. As soon as I start scrolling up, the menu appears. The assumption being that when you start scrolling up, you want to see the menu again to go somewhere else. So you can have that scroll up effect on, or just have it always sticky. And we can enable this on tablet and mobile if you want to, and you can add a different logo for the sticky menu. If you don't add a different logo, it's just going to use the one that you have already. You also have transparent header options. What this does is it moves this first section of the website behind the menu. So instead of having this white strip up here for our menu section, that'll be blue because we basically just move everything up and make the menu transparent. So if I check this or turn it on, you'll see that's what happened. This moved up a bit and we see the blue color everywhere. We can disable this on various pages if we want to. We can change the effect. You can have the header not be 100% see-through. Right now we see a little bit of white up there, or we can have it be 100%, which means it's completely transparent. and all the settings associated with that are listed here. Going out of the header section, we also have the footer section. In the footer, we have the footer widgets area, which is basically this area that we see here. We can add content to it and customize it using the options we see on the left. And we have the footer bar, which is the very bottom. And if I scroll down here, you see what I mean. There's the copyright info on the left. If I change the style, you see those guys move, and that is the footer bar and the customization options associated with that right here. And we also have substantial blog settings. So I'm going to quickly make some blog posts so we can see all the blog settings available to us. Just going to pause this video while I make those, then we can see all the blog options that come with Gutenix. I'm back, and we now have some very simple blog posts on the site. If I go to blog settings, we can see how we can manipulate the appearance of those blog posts on our website. So we're in the blog settings on the left, but we have to be on the actual blog page on the right as well. So I'm going to open my menu and go to the blog page. And this is the blog archive page. So it lists all the blog posts that we have on our site in the structure of title, metadata, featured image, description, and a button. I'm going to show you can rearrange those things in just a minute. First, let's just go from top to bottom here. We have the ability to turn this blog title on or off. This is the name of the actual page. So if you wanted to change the text rather than just turning it on or off, you'd have to go into Pages and then find the blog page, which is right here. Let's just change this to blog posts and click update. Then come back out here. Let's just publish any changes we had and refresh and go back to the blog post. Now we see it's called blog posts. So that's how we change the title. Here's how we turn it on or off. There's also other predefined layout options. This is listing 1. This is listing 2. This is the grid. This is masonry. And all these images are the same size. With masonry, we'll have the columns and the rows being different heights depending on the size of the images. But in this case, they're all the same size, so it all looks the same. We can change the number of rows, or sorry, columns. I'm going to change it to the grid. I like that one. We have 3 columns. We have 4 blog posts in total. We can change the order or the display of these elements that we talked about earlier, the title, the metadata, the image. If we click that little eyeball, it turns off the title. We can turn off the meta. We can turn off everything. But then it's kind of useless. Now we have really nothing on our blog post page. But you could turn off the metadata, keep the content, which is the description, put the featured image back on, metadata off. That looks pretty good. Or we can keep the metadata on and just move it down below the featured image. I prefer it down there. Just drag and drop by clicking on this hamburger icon. And that's how you can move those around. You can also not show as much on the metadata by checking these boxes here. We can turn off the comments and turn off the tags and maybe turn off the date. So it's just the category and the author. As you scroll through here, you can see there's a lot of options. And if you change them, you'll see what the effect is on your site. I'm not going to go through every single option. If you want to check them all out, it's super simple. You just change something, like change this excerpt from 20 to 30. The page will refresh and you see what happens. We have got more words now in the description. You don't like it, just change it back. So it's really simple. Just make changes in here and trial and error to see what they actually do on the page and see how it looks. And you'll be able to figure it out. The button settings for the Learn More button is in this section right here. I'm going to change this to Read More instead of Learn More. And you see all the buttons are updated. All the settings for that button are in this section. Down below, we have post title settings. Let's click into the post itself. Choose a different one. Now we see it changing. So this section here is in the post itself. Not on the post archive page, but in the post page itself. And the post meta settings, this is the metadata right here for the post. And we can change a lot of these settings for mobile as well. Just click on the mobile icons, change the settings for those specific screen sizes, and you'll be good to go for mobile. Post excerpt settings, this is back on the blog page again. Go back to blog posts. These settings here are for the excerpt that you see down here. Publish that, refresh. Some changes will happen right away when you make them. Others you have to publish and refresh or look on the front end. We see this is now bold because we changed the weight from 400 to 900, and the weight is basically how bold the font is. And so that wraps up all the settings in the customizer, and there are plenty of them. There's one more quick thing I want to show you. Each individual page that you edit has Gutenix page settings. They're described here. You can set them all in here, so you can have pages do different things depending on which page type it is. And if we go to blog posts, there are similar settings at the bottom of your blog posts right here. All in all, Gutenix is a great theme. If you like what you see, I encourage you to go to their website. It's linked to in the description down below. Go to the features page, the pricing page, the blog, read through what they have to offer, and you'll see the pricing is very reasonable. There's one annual fee or a lifetime fee, and you can use either of those on unlimited websites. They both have the same features, annual or lifetime. The only difference is they're annual or lifetime. You pay yearly or you just pay once. And next up is checking out this video right here, where I show you how to use the hotel booking plugin created by the same developers as the Gutenix theme. It's a great plugin. Check it out up here. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below this video. And make sure you click subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss any future videos. My name is Bjorn Allpass from WP Learning Lab. Until next time, keep crushing it, and I will see you in the next video.